home.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, home. Mark time, march. Right pivot, march. Forward, march.
Good job. Good job.
Forward, arms.
Mr. Surratt.
Let us pray. Father God, we thank you for blessing us to see another day. God, we pray for the safety of our staff and our students. God, we pray that you keep us in your arms. God, we pray that we do our best job as the leaders, the administrators, to put them in the best situation to succeed. God, we pray for all of our students to go into the classroom with open minds, willing and eager to learn, to accept, to become better students and better citizens. God, we praying that you continue covering them with your precious blood that was shed on Calvary's cross. And we'll be careful to give you the honor, the glory, and the praise. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the board agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the board agenda?
Make a motion to approve the board agenda.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Show of hands in favor. That is unanimous. Next item is approval of board minutes dated October 9th, 2023. Do we have a motion to approve board minutes?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the board minutes dated October the 9th, 2023.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Show of hands in favor. That is unanimous. Next item on the agenda is the referendum statement from the superintendent.
I just want to take a moment to talk about the referendum. Of course, I'm disappointed in the outcome. However, there are always positives to be taken away. First, thank you to everyone that went out and voted, either for or against the referendum. Thank you. I always preach about how important it is to be involved and to vote. Thank you to the community committee and everyone that worked on the campaign. One positive to take away from this is the fact that we had a unanimous vote from the board to even get it on the ballot. So that is a great start. This shows that we all can recognize that our facilities need addressed. Second positive is now we have some true data and can start to really dive into it and discuss the whys. I've already begun to meet with some of the individuals that were publicly against the referendum. There are two main things that we need to look at moving forward. Was it the cost or was it the plan? Those two things are very unique. If the community just doesn't want to pay for new schools, then that is a major problem. If it is the plan, then we're open to discuss it with anyone that may have a different idea of how to get this accomplished. At the end of the day, our facility issues still exist, and we will continue to try and come up with a way forward to improve them. It is still early, but we will continue to analyze results and talk to citizens. We cannot let this deter us from achieving world-class learning environments for our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fall. As a board, we did vote to send this to the citizens of Cherokee County, which is very important. That's how our democracy works. And it was sent forward, and we've heard the results of that, and we'll move forward from this point. Next item is honors, accomplishments, commendations. Dr. Fall.
Good evening, board members.
Good evening.
If the workers in training group can come on up. We just have one of our members here tonight, but I want him to school-to-work program that takes place in both the school environment and the workplace setting. The Workers in Training program is by invitation only. The student must be 18 years of age, recommended by the IEP team, and complete the competitive application process to be considered. This unique program was created by Student Services Transition Specialist Catherine Allen, along with those who supervise the program. The goal of this program is to provide real-life work experiences to help youth with significant disabilities make successful transitions from school to adult life. These students, and there's quite a few of them, but only Jeremiah is with us tonight. These students are currently working at the Cherokee County Family YMCA and Grassy Pond Elementary School as volunteers. We are especially excited to recognize this group tonight as they were named Volunteer of the Year by the Cherokee County Family YMCA. Congratulations. And this is Jeremiah Surratt, one of the workers in training, Becca Hamrick, the teacher, and Lenise Peeler, the assistant.
Great job, Jeremiah.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Sound more like, don't make me scared up here. I stand before you to present the Gaffney High School Athletics Award. Dr. Paul, Board of Trustees, thank you for this opportunity. I have two individuals that we're going to recognize tonight. The first individual is Mary Alice Cooper. Mary Alice is a junior, and she's been on the GHS swim team. She's led it for 5 years now and serves as team captain. This year she medaled with a third place finish at the Region 2 5A in the 50-yard freestyle and placed fourth in the 100-yard butterfly. In the process, she made the all-region team for the second straight year. She swam personal best times in both events at the region meet and was an automatic state 5A qualifier in the 50-yard freestyle and the 100-yard butterfly as a result of her time cuts. Since the state 5A qualifying times are the strictest in any high school division, at the state 5A meet at USC, she placed 15th in the 50-yard freestyle and 18th in the 100-yard butterfly out of 30 qualifiers in each event. Swimming her best personal times of the year, the girls swim team finished the year ranked 26th in 5A. Mary Alice Cooper. The next individual, we're going to hear her name the next 3 years in this sport, Lauren Mathis. Lauren Mathis is a freshman at GHS. She played varsity tennis since the 7th grade. Lauren playing in the #1 spot this year. She had some amazing and thrilling matches. One that I got to witness that stood out to me was her match at Spunkburg versus last year's Region Player of the Year. And she's a Clemson commit, and Lauren only lost those matches 6-4, 7-5.
Wow.
That's a great accomplishment for a freshman to play a senior like that. Lauren Mathis played in the South Carolina High School League State Singles Finals in Florence. She drew top seed Olivia Bull in the opening round. She played well, but she lost 0-6. 0-6, then moved to the back draw where she defeated Kamaya Pham from West Ashley 8-1 and Hannah Hope from Lexington 8-2 before losing to Haley Popland from Hilton Head 3-8. Lauren gained some great experience and also some valuable exposure for playing well against the very best players in South Carolina 5A classification. This is what really sticks out to me. She finishes the 2023 high school season with an incredible 20-4 singles record. before as a freshman.
Very
That's
impressive.
awesome. She's unreal. Awesome.
As a freshman. I'd like to take this time to recognize our coaches, Coach Kevin Covington and Coach Kelly Ellis. Those are our swim coaches. I ask them to stand. Some of you may know and some of you don't know, this next coach saved my life. Because I was coaching tennis for the first part of the year. And I had a clue what the forehand was, what the backhand was, what the serve was, how to score. But Mr. Kenny Harris made a phone call. He stepped in and coached the girls. And just a little nugget, we made the playoffs for the first time in umpteen years as the girls tennis team.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
Our administrator of the month is Miss Miranda Gregg from Blacksburg Middle School. Ms. Gregg is relentless in her efforts to make BMS a safe, positive, and high-standard learning environment. Because of her vision and love for the students and community, Blacksburg Middle will have leaders leaving a legacy. Congratulations, Ms. Gregg. Now, our teacher of the month from Blacksburg High School, Robin Smith. Blessing is the best description for Miss Smith. She exuberates joy and happiness, which creates an infectious effect of those that are around her. She is such an asset to this district and her students. She will periodically reach out to me with encouraging words and affirmations of appreciation. She is a working retiree and continues to serve the children of Cherokee County School District with the same enthusiasm as a first-year teacher. I am certainly proud she is a positive reflection of our district. Congratulations, Ms. Smith. Our substitute of the month from Ewing Middle School is Judy Belcher. Ms. Belcher is a substitute that we can always depend on. Ms. Belcher works tirelessly to ensure that her job is done well. Teachers returning to their classrooms after an absence return to order and cleanliness. There is always a detailed note about the day, and Ms. Belcher has handled everything as if the teacher were present. We are blessed at Ewing to have such a dedicated lady who calls Ewing her home. Congratulations, Ms. Belcher. Our support staff of the month could not be here tonight, so we'll recognize her at another time. Thank you.
Dr. Paul, one of our workers in training just got here. Can we let her come up?
Absolutely.
I gave, they have their certificates I gave to the teachers.
Absolutely, bring that.
This is Erica Bonner. Erica is one of our workers in training.
There. If everybody had a smile like that, it'd be a whole lot better world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next item on the agenda is school board policy BCBI, public participation. Dr. Fall?
Just want to update the board. There's no vote on this, but I just want to let you update the board and let you know that the SCSB changed the lettering from BCBI to BEDH now. So moving forward, you'll see that on the agenda instead of BCBI. Just wanted to let you know so no one's like, what is that? So for some reason, they decided to change the lettering, so.
Thank you for the update on that, Dr. Fall. Next item is board policy review. Dr. Carpenter? And if we're here and you want to go ahead and leave, because we're getting ready to get in everything, a lot of people have left, so go ahead and do that. So you don't have to hang around. Thank you for being here. Ms. Smith? Thank you.
Our first policy to deal with is GBEBE, Gavin's Law, Sexual Extortion for Staff. This law was named after Gavin Guthrie, son of State Representative Brandon Guthrie. His son committed suicide in 2022 at the age of 17 due to sexual extortion. The district is committed to maintaining a learning and working environment free from intimidating or harassing behavior of any kind, including sexual extortion. In keeping with this commitment, the district prohibits any staff, student, or third party from engaging in any behavior that would satisfy the definition of sexual extortion or aggravated sexual extortion as described in state law. Further, the district will not tolerate retaliation against a person who has made a report or filed a complaint alleging sexual extortion or who has participated as a witness in investigation. We ask for approval of first reading of policy GBEBE, Gavin's Law.
We've got a request for a motion for approval of the first reading of policy GBEBE, Gavin's Law. Do we have a motion for the approval of the first reading?
I make a motion to approve the first reading of the policy GBEBE, Gavin's Law, sexual extortation.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? A show of hands in favor of the first reading? That is unanimous.
The second policy is Gavin's Law, Sexual Extortion for the Student, policy GICFB. The only difference is in the reporting section. Any student who feels he or she has been subjected to sexual extortion is encouraged to file a complaint in accordance with procedures established by the superintendent. Complaints will be investigated promptly, thoroughly, and confidentially. All staff members are required to report alleged violations of this policy to the principal or his or her designee. Reports by students or staff may be made anonymously, but formal disciplinary action by the district will not be taken solely on the basis of an anonymous report. The district prohibits retaliation or reprisal in any form against a student or staff member who has filed a complaint or report of sexual extortion. The district also prohibits any person from falsely accusing another as a means of intimidation, bullying, or harassment. We ask for approval of first reading on Gavin's Law, the student version, so GICFB.
I have a request for approval of first reading of policy. Dr. Carpenter said, on our agenda it says JI. So is that, I don't want to make sure, JI.
I said G.
So policy,
Got a bad eye out there.
you've had a lot going on with the eyes, so you're fine. The policy, first reading of policy JICFB, Gavin's Law, sexual extortation, student, first reading. Do we have a motion for approval?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Go right ahead, go ahead.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
I make a motion that we approve policy JICFB, Gavin's Law, sexual exploitation pertaining to students.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second you.
We have a second. Any discussion? Show of hands in favor? That is unanimous.
Bessie's going to say.
Okay.
This is policy JLCC, communicable infectious diseases. This is the update from 2018, only in the life section. The changes reflect what we are actually doing, which is the nurse makes the call for a child and does the inspection of a child and can be referred by anyone in the building. And then the nurse also is the person who will check the child when they return, not just any staff member. And those are the revisions. We ask that you approve the first reading of JLCC.
We have a request to approve policy JLCC, communicable infectious diseases, first reading. Do we have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion that we approve policy JLCC, communicable and infectious diseases, the first reading.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? No discussion. A show of hands in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Ewing Middle School presentation. Dr. Allen Root.
Give it back when you're done.
No,
You
no,
can
I
keep it.
I messed up, please forgive me. Not my fault, what I always say. Oh, there we go, all right. Good evening, Dr. Fall, members of Cherokee County School Board. My name is Dr. Al Rick, and I'm principal at Johnny Ewing Middle School. I actually started teaching at Ewing back in 1995, seems just like yesterday. At Johnny Ewing Middle School, our theme is building the future, one student at a time. I just hit the push button. Look at it. About the school. The school was originally named East Junior High. It served grades 7 through 9. It was opened in 1968, and in 1991, it was renamed after Johnny Ewing Junior High School. It was named after Johnny Ewing, our former superintendent, who also died while he was in office. It was moved to a middle school in 2000 when Cherokee County adopted the middle school concept. Demographics. Our student population is around 430, but rising every day. People moving in, that's what happens. Right now, our numbers are a little high, but they're okay. Recommended middle school ratio numbers need to be around 1 to 18 or 20. We're still trying to find a desk that fits that 0.3 student.
Right.
It's supposed to be funny, but that's okay.
Right.
We are fully staffed. That right there deserves a round of applause. Our teachers are hardworking and dedicated to serving our students. When I arrived late summer for the job, we still needed 4 teachers, which was a blessing, because some other schools are still looking for teachers as we speak. 6 positions were needed, and what's unique about the people that we hired, Kristen Batchelor actually came back to us for an open PE job. We moved Ms. Lee into a social studies position. She was our Spanish teacher. Ms. Dawkins came to us from BD Lee to replace Ms. Lee in the Spanish class. Karen Powell and Amy Haynes came from Gaffney Middle to teach computers in 6th grade ELA. Our newest position was a career cluster, and it was filled by Emily Griggs. She taught at the high school. She went to Spartanburg Community College for a while, decided to come back to public school. So all of our positions were filled by people in the county who live close by to the school, which, like I said, is a blessing in itself. Also here we have our support staff. They work hard to help serve our students as well. Not a lot that I ask that doesn't get done, just a great group of people to work for. And I say I work for them because that's how I lead. I see myself as a resource for teachers, staff, students, and the community. I never ask them to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. I'm not going too fast, am I? I'm trying to hurry up.
No, you're doing good.
Like Ms. Grigg, Blacksburg Middle Principal talked about Stephen Covey. I attended a conference a long time ago in Myrtle Beach. His highly effective habits can be traced throughout South Carolina, but one of his habits is his mission statement. As the author of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey says, your mission statement is about defining the personal, moral, and ethical guidelines within which you can most happily express and fulfill yourself. Writing it down on paper makes it real. I encourage all my people to write a mission statement, and I put it outside their doors, so when the kids come in, they kind of look at those statements. I tell them to have fun with it, because it's their class. It's not a district mission statement, it's not a school mission statement, it's your mission statement. I like the one up there from Miss McCurry that says we have a strategic plan. It's called doing things. She has fun with that right there. Accomplishments. So far, we have a perfect score on Math SC Ready. That was given, I think, last board meeting. We recognized that person. We also had 3 students who scored perfect on the EOC and algebra. Let's see here. 3 junior scholars with the PSAT. Several teachers received educational grants. Our football team won the conference championship. Our volleyball team come 2 points away from winning the volleyball tournament. So they did real good. Also, our Coach Rice and Coach McGee, volleyball and football coaches, were Coach of the Year for their conference. So that said a lot from athletic end. PSAT went real smoothly. Ms. Davis does an excellent job with the testing. The week before testing, we started emphasizing the importance of being quiet, making sure you got your laptops charged and everything. We also talked to our 7th and 6th graders about behavior, because you can't have a testing going on with all kind of noise everywhere. I say that because the environment was excellent for testing. I hope when we get the scores back, it'll show that. But as I walked around the classrooms, looking in the classrooms, I didn't have a lot of kids, going to sleep, having to wake them up. A lot of them were, really actually in there trying and everything. And I had a couple of kids even said, Dr. Rupe, I did the best I could for you. So when you got kids trying to do the best, that's all you can ask of them. The funny part was, I think it was after about 2 o'clock, 6th grade transitions back from electives, and they were coming up the hallway going, are they through yet? Are they through yet? And they're still being quiet. So conditions were right. We'll just have to see what happens. Events. I don't know where to start. A lot happening at the middle school. We had a broadcast video, and I'll talk some more about that in a minute. Liz for Kids, Student of the Month, Humane Donation, Debate Club, Homecoming, Family Walk to School, Grandparents Breakfast, WSPA Career Class, Book Fair, Red Ribbon Week. I said it right, all right. Halloween Costume Contest, and we also had our Veterans Day program just recently. Grandparents Breakfast was a great turnout. We had a line wrapped all the way around the front hall. Don't think everybody thought that many people were going to come, except for Billy Ann Perry, who had the liver mush and the sausage and everything back there was still cooking as they was coming in. We had planned it from 7:30 to 8:30, so about 9:15, we got them on out the door. But they did a real good job with that. It coincided with our book fair, which made Dr. LaFrancis real happy, because all those grandparents want to buy their kids books when they go out through there. So she was really excited about that. I mentioned our career cluster class. We had a student who was actually at Ewing one time, and he is now a cameraman for WSPA. So when she invites those people in, they get to understand about those jobs. That was a good thing that she had going on there. She's doing an excellent job with that. We're also going to schedule some trips to I-Squared to let them set up on that. Dr. Smith's back there working on that as we speak. Homecoming was a success. We hadn't had homecoming in a while. It was sponsored by our PTO. You start talking about the things that we had coming out. We had 15 young girls out there, and Lord, on the day of the homecoming, they were all dressed, and the parents were there, and it was really, really an exciting time for them. They loved that. Our Veteran Day program was wonderful. Todd Humphries, the Director of Veterans Affairs, talked to our student body. Our student body was well behaved and respectful of all. A total of 8 students read their veteran essays in front of the whole school. Wow. We're talking about 11, 12, and 13-year-olds standing up here and talking in front of everybody and never skipped a beat. They did an excellent job. I know it was about the veterans, don't get me wrong, but I told the veterans and all of them standing there, I said, y'all hold on just a minute, I got to speak to my kids. Because not only did those kids get up there and speak and just kept going, didn't miss a beat, but all the kids in the stands, they wasn't cutting up, they wasn't acting a fool, they were being respectful like they were supposed to do. And we asked them to do that, and they did that. So our band and chorus, they had an excellent performance as well. And all the parents and veterans were treated to a reception afterward in the media center. One of the best programs I think at our school is our video broadcast club. Well, this started because I talked to a couple of teachers when I first got started And the teachers said a lot of interruptions in the mornings. Just didn't know when the interruptions were gonna come on to, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and everything. So places I've been before, we'd always kind of recorded the moment of silence and pledge, and then teachers could play them into their lessons where they wanted them to do. I talked to Dr. Francis, and she was willing to give it a try. I borrowed some equipment, and I promise I'll return it eventually to get started. The first presentation was sent out on Schoology, and you can see the kids were scared to death. One of them said, told a joke about a pencil, and they're sitting there reading the prompt. What did the, and it was just, but everybody said, hey, we did a good job, we did, and they started loosening up. One of the kids said, can we interview people? We said, yeah, go ahead. So then it wasn't long before everybody started sending the requests. You got to email them and see if they can interview you. So now everybody wants to be on TV, which is a good thing. And I think that helped with the people who read their essay. A lot of those are in the video club, so it makes it easier to stand up once you've done it in camera and see everything that's going on. I could talk a lot more about it, but that leads to our last slide. Oh, everyone and everything matters. A conversation with a student. We matter, and we got to understand that. But not only do we have to understand that, but the kids have to understand it. This is from a conversation I had with one of my students. Anytime I talk with a kid, whether it be about grades, changing classes, or whatever, we're going to talk about grades, we're going to talk about behavior, we're going to talk about all kinds of things. Because I want to get to know the kid, but I want the kid to understand I don't see him as just another student. I see him as somebody. In one of those conversations, he says, I don't matter. And it hit. My light bulb came on at that time. I'm writing a book, and it's called Everybody Has a Light Bulb. Nobody steal that from me. But, we all have light bulbs. There are times when we all have that aha moment. And like I said, that was when I had my light bulb moment. One of my teachers made a statement in the hallway to another teacher that the discipline had improved, but the empathy hadn't. Made me think in turn. Students must feel wanted to learn. Teachers must feel needed to teach. And school workers need to feel like they belong. In the end, we all matter. I talked to our student body about how everyone and everything matters. I told them in order to be successful, you must feel like you matter. The video broadcast team was sent to make a video about our school and our presentation. When they came to me, they talked to me and they said, Dr. Root, can we put the we matter in there? Because we do, we matter. We want that to understand. And I told them, run with it, do what you want to do. These are a group of kids that did real good. They did all the video footage that you're fixing to see in the video here. We sent everything over to Mr. Fuller at I-Squared. He turned it into what it looks like, but he told me, he said, I didn't have to do a lot. He said, all I had to do was kind of look at where everything was and put it where it was. It's only 3.5 minutes, but it's really exciting to me. Like I said, these kids put it together. I let them watch it today, and it was funny. They come out the door and you can see the smiles on their faces, and that's what it's all about. Because if they feel like they're doing something that succeeds, it's only a win-win situation altogether. You say all I do is hit the button? Okay. At Ewing Middle, we all matter. You got the sound up?
Welcome to Ewing Middle School. Our school is named after John E. Ewing, who was a lifelong educator and superintendent of Cherokee County Schools. When our school opened in 1968, it was originally called East Junior High. The school district changed the name to John E. Ewing Junior High during a ceremony on October 16, 1991 in honor of John Ewing. Ewing served as superintendent of Cherokee County Schools for 9 years. He died of a heart attack on September 23, 1990 while still serving as superintendent when he passed away. Ewing Junior High officially became Ewing Middle School when the county decided to adopt the middle school concept. Ewing Middle School is a small school with big community support. Our teachers and staff are like none other. Our students' safety and success is of vital importance. Many great people have walked the halls of Ewing Middle School.
Everything matters. Everybody matters.
Welcome to Ewing Middle School, where endless possibilities await our students. We matter. We are a dynamic community dedicated to providing an enriching educational experience for all of our students. At Ewing Middle School, we believe that every student has the power to achieve great things. We matter. We matter. We matter. With a team of passionate and experienced educators, we strive to nurture each child's unique talents and interests.
Exciting times coming up.
We matter. We matter. Whether it be through academics, the fine arts, sports, or extracurricular activities, we offer a diverse range of opportunities for growth and exploration.
You always need to feel like you matter. If you don't feel like you matter, you cannot be successful.
We matter. Although our building isn't state-of-the-art, we think our environment is perfect for learning. Our classrooms are equipped with the curriculum, books, technology, and supplemental materials that we need to ensure that our students have access to everything they need to succeed academically. But education goes beyond textbooks and exams at the middle school. We take pride in fostering a supportive community where everyone feels valued and respected.
Not only do you matter, your teachers matter. Our lunchroom people matter, our custodians matter, our secretaries matter. Get down to it, we all matter. But over here, we need to start thinking that way, so we'll know.
Our dedicated staff works tirelessly to create a safe and nurturing atmosphere where students can thrive emotionally as well as academically. I matter. As you embark on this exciting journey through middle school, remember that you are not alone. You are part of a remarkable community that will guide and support you every step of the way. Together, let us unlock the endless possibilities that lie ahead and make your middle school years truly unforgettable. One is middle school.
You guys gotta go without learning. We gotta learn. Go Eagles. All right, hope y'all like that. I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Root.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Anyone on the board, any comments or questions to Dr. Root?
Rube, I want to tell you, you gave the best presentation we done had. You know why?
Why?
You didn't give up there giving all that data. You showed the kids, you showed y'all got all the programs going. That's what it's all about. I mean, don't get me wrong, the test scores matter. But
the test scores matter, but the kids' minds are not right.
Exactly. And you got your kids involved, and you got them feeling like they matter, they important. And when you build their confidence up, the grades will come up, all that'll come up. So hey, I loved it, man.
Thank you.
Great presentation.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is underperforming schools. Dr. Paul?
I'm gonna move down here. I got quite a few things coming up on the agenda, so I'll move down here. That way, in case y'all want to throw anything at me, I can duck. Just kidding. I want to talk about underperforming schools real quick as part of the requirements from legislation that we do this. So every year we have to do this anytime you have a school that receives an overall rating of unsatisfactory or below average, they fall under the underperforming schools. Part of that being on that list is you have to do a turnaround plan, also known as continuous improvement plan. The schools are still working on those right now. Part of it, you have to get input from your SIC in different groups, so they're still in the process, which you'll see the timetable here in a few slides, but they're still in that process. We are not a district unsatisfactory. We're at 46%. If you're at 65 or higher of your schools being underperforming, then you become a district that's underperforming. For 2023, this is how the points were broken down. You can look and see there, the MLP is for if you have 20 or more English learners, you receive that rating, which changes up the scores a little bit, but if you just look at the without the MLP, they give you an idea of what they had to, where they got their points and what categories. This is the breakdown of our schools for the last 3 years. Last year we had 2 in the unsatisfactory category, which this year we only have 1, which is an improvement. We also had two schools that actually improved from the previous year, but they were low. So, but I want to recognize Draytonville and Baum. Both of them went up from where they were.
Grassy
So,
Pond went up too, right?
what's that?
Did Grassy Pond go up too?
Yeah, I'm just talking about the ones that are in the category of
okay.
underperforming. Yeah, we had several schools that went up.
Gotcha.
But this is just about the underperforming right now. Those two schools, even though they're on that list, they did improve, and I'll be shocked if they don't come off next year. And there's a couple schools on this list. Dr. Blanton, him and I have talked numerous times. He's not happy about being on the list for his school as a high school, but this has been a good learning experience for him and his team. They've done a lot of work of diving into the details and figuring out why. And they were simple things that could have been adjusted that could have put them in the average versus below average. So I'm confident they'll move out. I'm confident that all of our schools are going to improve. They've done a lot of work. We met as soon as we got this list not too long ago. I met with the principals of each one of the schools and started talking about the positive. You're on this list, but we got to stay positive and move it off of the list. So, like I said, there are some highlights. We went from 2 unsatisfactory. Unsatisfactory is more crucial. None of it's good, don't get me wrong, but if you're unsatisfactory, if you're that 3 years in a row, the state gets involved and can take over for that school or make you do some things that you don't want to do. So going from 2 to 1, that's a plus. And like I said, I do believe that all these schools will improve. This is the high school, just so that you kind of have an idea of what their scores are a little bit different. So give you an idea of where they need to score to fall where. And like I said, for Gaffney High, there was 2 areas that had nothing to do with academics that they could have got the points and moved them to that average versus below average. So they know that now, and they will, I'm sure, fix that moving forward. They also hired a coach to help them with their data and things. So they're doing a lot of good things over there to improve. I really believe this list is going to be much smaller next year. There's the list of the ones, like we only have the 1 unsatisfactory BE lead. The rest of them are below average, and I do believe that they'll all move up. This is the timeline that I was speaking about earlier. They've already done the first one there. November 17th coming up shortly is the public notification meeting. I think most all of them have already done that, but they have until the 17th to make sure that happens. Then January 15th, we have to turn in their plan to the Department of Ed. Then they'll turn them around, and as long as everything's approved, by February 28th, they will have to be posted to the school district and SCDE website. So they'll be on all 3 of those websites, the plan, so that once they're finalized, those communities can see exactly what the plan is and what's taking place to improve. Article 60, this is what I was talking about earlier. If you have 3 consecutive years of unsatisfactory report card rating, that's when the state can intervene if the state superintendent determines the turnaround plan results are insufficient. Together we can. I believe that with the support of the district and the school work that they're doing, I believe that we can turn those schools around. And they are already at work doing the work that's necessary. So I'm fully confident that we'll move it. That was the underperformance.
Dr. Fall, on the scores where they have the range for the rating points, is that a consistent year to year, or is that determined the 5 categories: excellent, good, average, below average, unsatisfactory? Is that dependent upon the scores of the aggregated schools?
It can change from year to year. It just depends on what the state puts out at that time. Like, one of the things that snuck up on the high school was if you didn't get 80% of your surveys done, you didn't get the full points. Well, they didn't know that. So those kind of things that they kind of changes on a regular basis. I'll just put it that way.
Kind of a moving target. You still know that certain items need to be met, but there are some other items that are moving targets.
Yeah, and they look at the state overall to determine where you fall as far as certain things too. So it is a moving target from year to year.
But like for BD Lee on last year, their score was a 34 that landed them below average. And if we look at the scale, 34 was a thin line. It was the line between unsatisfactory and below average. So we knew last year that they were on that line. What could we have done? Because, I mean, we knew, we could see, okay, 34 is the lowest you could go to be below average. Anything a little bit lower than that is unsatisfactory. So what could we have done
I don't know if that line was the same last year.
Okay, so that back to his question,
And
it
that's
does
why
change.
some of
The
those
scores change.
categories were NA because they didn't have that category. So it changed a little bit. Remember, last year we went over the new accountability tool. I don't know if y'all remember that or not. So that changed some of the structure of the points as well. So I get what you're saying, but you can't necessarily.
So you can't plan ahead of that. You can't be proactive
You can plan
and
ahead by
say.
saying you are unsatisfactory and we got work to do. That's
Okay.
not,
But you don't know. But you don't know
right,
what to do.
Because that's where they look across the state to determine what those. Someone's always going to be in the bottom, and they make that cutoff. So I think at the end of the day, the main focus is that we know we're unsatisfactory at that school, and we got to do some drastic things to improve it.
What are we doing, Dr. Fall, to improve the score?
Well, we'll go over the plan that we're gonna do specifically for that, each one of these schools at a later date. Like I said, they're still working on those, so I don't wanna get into anything, specific to school. But it's anything from, you know, we got a new curriculum, we got, some things that we're doing in the classrooms, increasing the observations of the classrooms, making sure that we got good tier 1 instruction going on, including our MTSS coordinator now that we have, that will be able to get in there and truly track each student to be able to tell if Ms. Dawkins becomes at risk at tier 2 or 3, we know right away and we can get her interventions and help that she's needed. So things like that. And then one of the other things that we're looking at doing is we need to get an instructional coach at each one of these schools. Some have them, some don't. We need to make sure that every one of our schools have an instructional coach in.
When are you
So
made?
those are some of the things.
I'm sorry. When are you made aware of any criteria changes?
It varies. It depends on when they put them out. Like I told y'all, when we did the update to the accountability before, they gave us the possible way in advance. I went over it with y'all, and then once we got the final, we went over it, and it changed from then to the final. So it just depends on when they send it to us. It's all dictated from the State Department.
Well, kudos to those schools that have improved. I know we're talking about underperforming, but I look at that chart, I'm so
Yeah,
proud.
we're gonna do a more, for all of our schools, a data walk for y'all so that you can see it a little bit more clearly, but we
That's
had
good.
to do the underperforming right now, so that's why I wanted to get that in. But we're gonna do something for y'all as far as the data, so
Good.
just be patient on the rest. I didn't wanna downplay any of them, cause they did do a great job,
Yes.
but the underperforming ones, those two schools that improved as well did a fantastic job.
Well, some of the principals that I see here tonight, it seems like all of their schools did take a step forward. So kudos to you that are here tonight, that I'm just looking through, seeing you. And even Ewing, you didn't move forward, but you maintained, so.
They knew I was coming.
That's
They
right,
did.
they knew. So kudos to you as well.
So Dr. Fall, what you're saying also is that basically the school, these ratings are going, they're on a bell curve. 20% for each category. You got 5 categories. You're gonna have the bottom 20%, you have the upper 20%, those in between. Because I mean, you look at the ranges for excellent, just for elementary. You have 39 points for the range for excellent. Did anybody get 100%? 100 on these? I mean, that's a question to ask. And then, but when you get down to good, you're looking at 7-point range. So it varies. It looks like they're running a bell curve because you're always going to have somebody at the bottom, at the top. But there's 20% range of all the schools in the state in those categories. That's what it looks like. I'm just trying to look at their methodology of scoring this. But it does look like it moves because the ratings for the elementary, middle school, and high school, there are different ranges for those numbers.
It is a moving target, but, once again, like I said, once you're categorized, then you know, and you can improve for the upcoming year, regardless of what they do with the numbers or don't do. You gotta put the work in, and as long as you do that, I believe you'll come out fine. Like I said, like with the high school, and Eric and I have talked numerous times about this, he was very upset when he saw he was on the list, and, he instantly started digging into it, and they had two categories that had nothing to do with the students that could have had them average versus below average, so, they know that, and moving forward, I don't believe we'll have that issue again.
What were those?
One was, like I said, they hitting the 80% target of the students doing the surveys, and the other one was the teacher surveys.
Teacher survey.
So two things that could have easily been fixed, or better, I should say. And they're taking those steps, they are. Along with their academics, they're really looking at their grad rate and different things, and I think they've seen some clear things there with their consultant that they hired to help with that, and I think they're making good headway there. I think right now, if things were to wash out, was it around 82%, almost 83, Dr. Bland?
That's correct.
So.
Well, I'd just like to say Dr. Jeffries does a wonderful job there at BD Lee Elementary, and so anything the board can do to support her, we're willing to do.
Nothing else, we'll move on to the next one. I wanted to share with you, and this book is always in my office. I had this created. This is the climate survey, just so you guys can see, and I'll pass it around if you want to flip through it real quick, but this has a breakdown for every school and the district, so I'll just start it down here, Mr. Wilkins, if you want to pass it as I go through this. But I wanted to just talk about the school climate surveys real quick. These come out every May, so we won't get this one until May timeframe usually. But I wanted to share with you. This is parent, guardian, school climate survey results. So this is the parent first, their take on everything. Am I satisfied with the learning environment? In 22, it was 88.8, and 20, should be 23, 84.6. The first one's 23. Or I'm sorry, they're going across that way. So it went from 88.8 to positive learning environment to 91.9 for positive learning environment. And then in 22 to 84.6, it went to 88.5. So both of those went up. And then, once again, this is parent.
Now, I'm curious, how do they get these out to the parents?
Usually from the school.
Like, is it like email, newsletter?
It
comes through Power School.
Power School. Okay.
Once again, parent survey, positive social and physical environment in 22 was 90.2. It went up to 91.7. Positive social and physical environments, 85.6. It went up to 89.2. And that's out of 1,660 surveys returned, which is pretty good. Usually we have trouble getting surveys back, but they did a pretty good job of getting them back in. 22, positive homeschool relations. You can see both of those went up to 91.2 and 88.2. This one is from the teacher climate survey. In 22, positive learning environment was 92. It went down to positive learning environment to 88.9. I'm satisfied with the social and physical environment. It went down from 91.1 to 89.3. I'm satisfied with the home to school relationships. They did not ask that one in 22. So our first line of data for that one in 23, it was 86.3. you have a question about any of these, just stop me along the way. This one is the student school climate survey results. I'm satisfied with the learning environment. 22 is 85.1, and 23 it was 84.4. And this one we had really good. If you see the number of students, we had a little bit over half of our kids turning these in, so turning them back. So it was pretty good numbers. I'm satisfied with the social and physical environment. 83.6 in 22, 23 was 82.2. I'm satisfied with the home to school relationships. 22 is 91.4, 23 91. Some things about the climate surveys, like I said, each spring these are given out to us. Usually we get them around May, and they're given to the students, teachers, and the parents, guardians. And then these are also finalized in part of our school report card as well. Any questions about the climate surveys?
Dr. Fall, the numbers of the survey return was a pretty good size difference there. So my question would be, like in the parent survey was pretty low. My question is, what kind of grade level are we seeing returning it? I mean, do we need to look at something different, getting them out there?
Well, it isn't only the grade level. We'd have to look and see what was returned number last year of returned, what grades exactly, and because that could change the numbers drastically. If you only have half and then next year you get 75% in, well, that could change your data a lot. So I think it's a combination of both of those things.
But I'm just saying that overall, I think it was about 1,600 returns, I believe it was.
For which one?
1660.
Parents.
Yeah, the parents was 1660, I think.
That's what I'm saying, 1,600 out of roughly 9,000 students, that's not too good of a turnout.
I mean, do we have any like evidence of or data that shows how many parents actually use Power School?
Yeah, everyone.
Or click in there. I mean, my wife, she gets on that stuff, but I mean, I've never seen it, but she hasn't. But I'm just saying, like, if we're only sending this through Power School, are we missing a lot of people?
That's where we're getting the information. Every parent is in Power School.
Yeah.
Every parent
But do we
has
see
access,
where
but
they
are
actually
using
log in to see it?
It's up to the parent whether or
Yeah.
not they send them back. I mean, they're all in Power School. Every kid's address is in there.
I think some schools have done, like, I've seen that Mr. Atkins incentivizes it with drawings and prizes, and I'm sure, you know, the principals have done creative things. It's really hard to get folks to engage sometimes, unless they're upset, but maybe we could do something, I don't know, creative to try to
Well,
figure
I
that out.
think each school does do their own little unique things of trying to get that participation
Yep.
to be more and more each year. Participation in many things has dropped a lot pre-pandemic. It's difficult to get people to participate in a lot of things anymore, it feels like. And surveys, like I said, I mean, we can only send them out. We can't, if they only send back 1660, there isn't. I mean, we try to do everything we can to encourage them. Like I said, each school does something different to try and get them back. So.
Dr. Fall, I'm just saying, what I'm getting at is a lot of parents don't even look at it. They tell me they don't see these surveys, but it's in Power School. Like I say, it's in their child. I believe it's there, but they're not using Power School. A lot of parents just never even look at it unless they're having a problem. You know what I'm saying? If they having trouble with their student, yeah, they might do it. I mean, like you say, I'm worried that they're not seeing it to begin with.
They are made aware as much as we can make them aware, and like I said, the schools try to do things as well to increase that awareness. At some point, there has to be some ownership on.
So you're saying the school is notifying them that the survey is on Power School?
Yes, and a lot of schools are doing incentives to get them returned.
Dr. Fall, refresh my memory. Is it every grade level of the parents of a child in every grade level that completes these, or is it
For the
some grade levels?
It's all right, it's just money.
It's okay.
I thought at one time, and I've been out of the schools for a while, but I thought it was just that for high school, it was just like 11th grade. Is that different now, Eric? Is that different? It's all students.
And then the 1,660 out of 7,700 and whatever our exact number is today, is a long way away, especially if you're talking a two-parent home.
And we're still using where they can receive phone calls and text messages and all that to alert them of these parent surveys, to be the need of them to be completed.
Yeah.
I think Lenny said it best. A lot of people ain't gonna feel nothing out unless they mad at you.
Yeah.
And we also gotta remember, if you got two kids, parent ain't gonna fill out no two surveys for both. I mean, they're gonna fill out one, they're gonna go on. So we'll never get 100% return on that if you going by students. If I got two kids in school, let's be real, most of them gonna fill it out on the youngest child, and the oldest one in high school. I mean, I'm just being honest. The high school, it is what it is. So we'll never get 100%. But as far as Power School, you get notifications all the time. Whenever something hit Power School, it hit my phone. So, and it hit any parent's phone if you got it set up. But I mean, you can mail them, you can do whatever. But people ain't gonna fill them out if they're not gonna fill them out. Like I just told Ms. Goldman, the thing is, they don't make parents like they used to. Some of these parents don't care. That's just the God honest truth. So they're not gonna fill out a survey. I mean, so ain't no need of us beating that dead horse, because some of these parents are not gonna do it. It is what it is.
Well, I think it still does give you a little snapshot. I think it's still beneficial to look at these things.
It is, but you'll never get a true
I just don't
number.
think that you can take it as gospel. I think it gives you a snapshot, and you use that to your advantage because if you score really low, which all of our percentages are very high across the state, we outdid every category. If you just rest on that and say, well, we did good, move on, like, I don't think you rest on it, you just say, okay, well, they're happy with this, how can we improve that? But it's just a snapshot, because you don't really know whether or not Scott turned his in, so you can call Scott and say, hey, Scott, why did you give me a 70% instead of a 90? You know, you don't know that, so it's hard to address it, but I think you just use it as a snapshot and try to improve.
And when do you say the survey goes out?
We get the results back in May.
Yeah, but when does it go out?
I want to say March-ish.
Oh, okay.
I'll find out the exact date and let you know, but it's in the spring they send it out.
Oh, okay.
So potentially what you're looking at about a 20% return rate, if you're looking at the numbers, I mean, give or take. And when you do a survey like this, if you get 30%, you've done real well. But you do not see high numbers with surveys.
The kids and teachers are usually higher because you can control those a little
Right.
bit more.
Parents,
Parents, we don't have no control.
Right.
clear.
So. All right, moving on to Kidder Media. I requested before a PR/media person, and I know that, it didn't get approved, so I started looking at different avenues that maybe we could do to help increase getting out information that our schools are doing, and this is one that I found that seemed really good and does a good job. So I wanted to share with you and see if it's something that the board wants to move forward on. If not, I'll continue looking for alternatives to our communication struggles. So Kidder Media, these are the 3 different things that they can work with us on: direct mail, video production, and digital marketing. I wanted to play a video here real quick just so you had an example.
Hi, my name is Ida.
This is one of the promotional videos they did for another school. That's what if you've seen there at the beginning, they did show it pretty quick. That was an example of one of the newsletters they did. This would be the cost scenario for our district, and obviously it would be adjusted per the number that we want to send out or don't want to send out. For the first 3,900 for a 4-page newsletter, it's 3,000 printed copies, and that's not only printed, they're color, and that includes postage and handling to whoever we determine. So we could have it go out to just the parents. We could have it go out to the parents and anyone else in the county. We can dictate however we want it to go out. And then you can see some of the other price ranges of the other things that they do.
Were there any other companies that were looked at, or?
Yeah, there's other ones. This one seemed like it had the most chatter about it, that it was good. They sent me a couple of the sample newsletters that they do. The quality was a much nicer, glossy paper.
Well, I mean, just look at their Facebook page. Only has 235 likes. So if they're a marketing company, that's not. I mean, I don't think that's too good. I mean, I don't know. I'm just looking right here.
Where are they from, Dr. Fall?
It's up north. I want to say Indiana, but I cannot remember 100% for sure.
Yeah.
I want to say it's Indiana, but I could be off. But it's up north somewhere.
What are a few examples of information you'd want to share using this?
Well, I think that our schools, for instance, you all get to see some of it through the school presentations, but we see from our we stream every board meeting, the participation on the other side of the camera is not that high. So being able to take some of that kind of information and get out to the parents, I think would be huge for the parents to know what's going on in our schools. If nothing else, the parents, but even further beyond, we just did a referendum, but how much of the community, if they don't have a child in one of those schools, know what's going on in those schools, good or bad? I just think that it benefits getting that information out about the schools.
Do you know of any districts that are using this program?
Personally, in the state, I don't know of any right now, but most districts our size or bigger have a PR person, so they do this kind of stuff themselves. We don't have that luxury, so I'm trying to find alternatives to it.
I appreciate your work to bring this to us, Dr. Fall. I don't know if this is the answer we need. I think there's some local folks, at least folks in Spartanburg, who do this kind of thing. It's an expensive proposition for sure, and this is very reasonable. But I just don't know if we need to throw spaghetti against the wall. I think we need something that it's gonna be more
full-time position.
I agree. Listen. I hear you. It's just not budget time yet.
So I just want to let y'all know I am looking. If you don't feel comfortable moving forward with this, I'll continue looking, find more, and that's fine. But I want to let you know we're trying to figure out some kind of way to help get information out. We try to do everything we can from the school level. We changed up our alert system that you were asking about, the sending out the text and all that, to where now it automatically sends a text and an email to if you're in there. So it sends, and it's the principals and everyone using it have seemed to like the new system very much. They've commented that they've reached parents that they've never reached before with it.
I agree. Yeah, that's good. I agree.
I commend Dr. Blanton. He has, if you're not getting information from Gaffney High School, it's just because it's at some point you have to have the parents be accountable for their actions or lack of action. Because the information is there. I can only speak for him right now.
Yeah, Dr. Blanton, Mr. Dawkins, Grassy Pond, there's numerous schools that send out every Sunday evening text message.
Calling, text,
email, it comes in email too, and it has a breakdown of upcoming events for the week.
Yep.
If you can't keep up with a week, then I think they're making every effort
They
possible.
are.
Yeah, they are.
And the new system seems like it's working great. A lot of them said they were able to reach parents that they were never able to reach before
Yeah.
with it, so, I think it's going really well. Anything else on that before we get into the projects?
So you're gonna look at other programs and just get back with us?
Yeah, I'll continue trying to find other,
I'm not impressed with
avenues, but I wanted to make sure that y'all seen something.
Are you locked in on this program for?
No.
I mean, I'm just saying, if you were to go with this program, are you locked in for a year, for 6 months?
It's a year by year.
Year by
So
year.
if we did try it and do, like, let's say we just did the 2 newsletters, you know, this upcoming beginning of spring and end of spring maybe. We could try that and, you know, the cost obviously would change because we don't have a full year in right now. So we could try, and not just this one, but any of them that I bring, I'm sure we could try it, and then, you know, none of them, I don't like signing more than a year contract for anything like this, because turnover and things like that in today's world, you may start out with a great company, and then they lose the key person that was working on your stuff, and it never works the same again, so, I'll continue looking, but it would be a year to year on any of them.
My gut feeling is the social media is the most important one. I mean, because everybody's on social media now. Newspaper, newsletters, I'm concerned that people will get it and throw it in the trash can, or it won't make it home to the kids if it's
Well,
mailed.
that's why this one will be mailed to the house.
Do they look at it?
I know.
Social media, they'll look at. Newsletter, I'm not sure.
The problem with social media, though, we see this all the time. We send it, and Ms. Dawkins looks at it, makes a comment. Ms. Shadford reads the comment, never looks at the document and goes off her comment, then she looks at her, and it's that trickle effect, and no one but the one person looked at the document. That's the bad part with that, is it creates, it can create, I should say, a whirlwind of
Oh, yeah.
misinformation and concern.
Not factual.
So,
Yeah.
we'll continue to look into it, as I said, and I'll bring some more throughout the coming meetings so that you all have more options to think about. But just keep Kinder in your list, and we can always come back to it, or Kidder, I'm sorry, not Kinder, we can come back to it if need be later. All right, wanted to update you on a couple of projects that we got going on, the transportation project. Just wanted to show you where some of the work is being done, the approximate building location, some of the sewage lines. This is a drawing of where the building would be located in representation to that previous picture. That's the parking lot. You can see the L shape there. So that's how the layout would be. The top part would be the activity buses. This long part here would be all your regular yellow buses, and then that corner over there is your transportation building and the parking for staff. This gives you an idea of what the inside of the room will look like. It's nothing extravagant, but it will definitely do the job for what they need. It gives them a meeting/break room area. It gives them a couple office spaces for the different folks that are doing the bus routing, the receptionist, secretary, and the director, and then most importantly, it gives them more than one bathroom, clean, safe bathroom to go into. Right now, the current facility is not, y'all have been over it, Gaffney, you've seen it, it's
Well, Dr. Paul, I'm just curious, how is this being funded? Like, because I thought this was part of the referendum.
This was part of our job to do, that y'all voted to do as part of sending the referendum out. These were the projects, this one and the maintenance building were the projects we were gonna do. And that's out of our, fund balance. Anything else before I go to the band room? Alright, wanted to go over the band room real quick with you. We were hit with a major change change in the band room from OSF. God bless them, we love them. I say that half-heartedly.
How much did that cost?
What's that?
How much did that cost?
It is gonna cost us quite a bit because we had to, and they said that, and this isn't no one's fault on here, but it's their fault really. They said that they should have made us put bathrooms down here when they built it originally, and they didn't. So if you notice this green box down here on the bottom says men's toilet and women's toilet, we had to include that. Originally they wanted us to put it on the end over here, where the canopy comes down. They wanted us to put it there, but we were gonna move it inside so that we don't have to build another wall, pour more concrete, all those kind of things to save a little bit of money. We are looking at ways to save money right now on it. We're gonna cut down the size of the canopies. We were gonna run a canopy along the side, but that's gonna be too, so we're gonna take that out. You know, the side where we walk down for graduation, that side there, we were gonna run it all so tied in with the one up top, but I think that's something maybe we just add later on because the cost is getting up there. And like everything with construction, the price keeps going up, but they are still within that square footage dollar amount that we shared before. With this bathroom being added, it has taken us up quite a bit to about 3.5 now.
And when were we to begin?
2.4?
Last time we were at
2.4, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So does that include the chorus piece?
Yes, that includes bumping out the chorus. You can see the blue is where we're bumping out the chorus room. That square footage becomes 1877. And then, of course, the big band room. Those two canopies on the blue top there are the ones that I was talking about that we're looking to shrink those down to save a little bit of money there. And then the one on the left over here that goes down, that's the one I was talking about running along the side of the building that we're gonna take that off and just hold off on that. We can add that later.
So if the price gets any higher, are you gonna bring it back to us?
I'm gonna constantly bring it back to y'all, yes. It should not move from here because now OSF has put their stamp on it and it's pretty much done now. It should not change. I'll tell you what everyone was really shocked at was the plumbing expenses.
Oh, yeah.
The plumbing expenses have went through the roof. It's mind-boggling. But we've talked about that numerous times, how that market just keeps getting more and more expensive. It doesn't get cheaper. This gives you the big picture that once again, running down that long left was that canopy that I think we'll just take that off and hold off till later and maybe that's a capital project we do down the road or something, but you can see the rest of the layout there. There's kind of a little rendering that give you an idea of what it would look like when it's all said and done. Now, the only place that we could save a little bit more money is if we shrunk down the height. I don't want to shrink it down. It's already lower, as you can see here, it's already lower than the original. You start shrinking it, it's going to look funny.
What do you mean a little bit of money?
Well, if you have a little bit less brick.
Right, but like, are we gonna save like $1.5 million or
No,
save like, okay.
maybe 100 to 200,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. Just depends. Which I know every penny matters, but I did not want to shortchange anything we're trying to do for the kids.
Right.
So that's why I didn't mess with that. Plus aesthetically, I think it would look really bad if we go too small. That's why we looked at things that really didn't impact the kids, like the canopies and that kind of stuff. Any other questions?
So we approved how much for this project?
2.4.
Originally, it was, the last number was 2.4, but all this had to be submitted to OSF and get final numbers of where the plumbing is going and all that. It was gonna be more than that if we would have had to do like they wanted and put it on the end. Because then we would have, not only would have we had to build the wall and everything and the roofing, we would also had to run plumbing from there over to the wellness center, the weight room. So we don't have to do that since we're keeping it internal, but there still is plumbing work to do.
And so now we've gone up another million, did you say? Up to 3 point?
And it will keep going up if we don't finish it off quickly. The good news is on the transportation one, it came under. That one was at 1.6 and they're at 1.5 right now. The last thing on projects, I know a while back, and some of you weren't even on the board at this time, a project was approved for baseball, softball. We kind of put it on hold because we wanted to wait and see what happened with the referendum. Obviously, the referendum didn't pass, so I wanted to know if y'all wanted me to bring a revised plan back to you on the baseball, softball so that we can get moving and finalize that.
The money's still there, right? I mean, wasn't there some designated money there?
Because we just paused everything.
Yeah.
I think you'd have a lot of happy parents.
Yes.
We had a lot of upset parents in the past year, so that's.
Well, it's y'all's decision, that's
Bring it
why I'm
back.
bringing it back.
I think
Yeah.
we
Bring it
bring
back, it's something we said we were gonna do.
I will have it for you. This will be an additional for December. I will have it for you for December so that we can get going on it.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you, Dr. Fall. Next item on the agenda is executive session for the purpose of discussion of employment related to the superintendent's evaluation, receipt of legal advice related to the settlement of a legal claim, and personnel matters for the purpose of discussing the employment, discipline, or release of an employee or employees of the district, and contractual matters. Do I have a motion that we go into executive session for the aforementioned reasons?
I make a motion that we enter executive session for the aforementioned reasons.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? A show of hands and agreement, that is unanimous, we are now in executive session.
Yeah, it's a lot, and I try and keep each year so you can kind of, so if you ever want to see it, I always have it.
Got your son's birthday the other day. Come on back, come on.
change. And gas heat, you have gas heat in the house. Some, brown or red, takes it out. I still haven't looked at it. Maybe they'll be Thanksgiving.
Missy, I'm gonna give you an award because you have been loyal every meeting. So I'm gonna make sure we get you something special.
You really have.
I appreciate, I always preach about being a part of it. If you're not a part of it, you can't complain.
That's right. I don't mean anything special, I just agree with what you said, you're right. 100%.
Look at Dr. Carpenter, he's got questions.
I've been coming for 13 years.
We'll get you another coat.
Hey, you're getting it, you made it, so.
What size?
We've been in executive session for the purpose of discussion of employment related to the superintendent's evaluation, receipt of legal advice related to the settlement of a legal claim, personnel matters for the purpose of discussing the employment, discipline, or release of an employee or employees of the district, and contractual matters. Do I have a motion that we return to regular session?
I make a motion we return back to open session.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, show of hands. That is unanimous. Do we have any action as needed from executive session?
Mr. Chair, I move that the board accept the settlement offer from Altria as discussed in executive session and direct the superintendent to execute the settlement documents on the board's behalf in consultation with the district's legal counsel at White and Story LLC.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, show of hands. That is unanimous. Next item is superintendent's report. Dr. Fall,
I request that the board approve the personnel recommendations.
do we have a motion to approve the personnel recommendations of the superintendent?
I make a motion. Go ahead, Ms. Dawn.
I make a motion to approve the personnel recommendations of the superintendent.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, show of hands. That is unanimous.
Just want to share with you real quick, COVID numbers, they are down compared to September, but we still do have active COVID out there, so just want to give you all a heads up on that. Don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. The last thing on there, I just want to remind y'all that the SCSB Legislative Advocacy Conference and Delegate Assembly meeting is December 2nd and 3rd. Travel and arrival on the 1st in Charleston. So I just wanted to give you all a reminder, those of you that are going to that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Fall. Next item is our announcements. Mr. Blackwell? Any
Announcements?
comments or any?
Well, everybody's gone, so it's too late to recognize them. But nevertheless, let me just inform you guys, we meet Wednesday for the high school league for us, this competitive stuff that I talked to you about earlier. We're meeting Wednesday to make a final vote on which way we're going. I was talking with Malcolm earlier, trying to get our guys' feedback. Showed him what the options were. It looks like we're going, before it's over with, it's going to be a multiplier put in, at least that. But trying to get the competitive part done, because realignment has to be done. We have to get all this over to the definitive Reds. So that'll be Wednesday.
Have you, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Sure.
Have you guys had anything from, I know legislation's been talking
There's a proviso,
hard
yes.
about,
Yes, I've got a copy of it. If you'd like to see it.
if you don't mind sending it to me.
That's why some of the, we had several other options. We narrowed it down to really 3 different ones we're picking from now. But we had several other options, but the proviso prevents us from starting a total separate bracket and things of that nature because of the wording in there where it says they have to be treated the same. So what we're talking about doing is possibility of putting a multiplier in for students outside the district. And that multiplier then also having a cap in there to prevent, we're not trying to move 4A to 5 or vice versa, but bring some down. Having a cap on the upper end and lower end. It's really in the, I'm gonna say it's in the 2A status where we're having problems, you know. And using that cap like that'll help prevent some from moving. I don't see where it's gonna affect Gaffney at all, but, you know, and any of them. To be honest with you, I don't think it'll affect us, but it could cause some others to have to move, but it's not gonna be much. We're working those numbers, trying to get everything and that way they're using that, we'll be treating everybody the same because we use the same multiplier on everyone.
I want to say thank you for your work on that, Mr. Blackwell, and members of that committee. It's for those in 1A and 2A, it is a very significant
Yes, sir.
job that y'all are doing.
I think it was 6 schools refused to play like Gray Collegiate this year. There was 6 of them. You know, that pretty well knocks their season out pretty well. You know, they didn't have much of a season now,
but they're playing in the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And so.
They competed.
They give them a lot of practice time though.
Yeah. So, thank you, Mr. Cash.
Nothing to do.
Ms. Gallman.
So excited to see our workers in training program. I've witnessed them myself at the YMCA, them working. And at Gracie Pond School, they do a fantastic job. And what was the little girl's name?
Erica.
She melted my heart. So cute. So I'm so proud of them. And Miranda Grigg, I've worked with her. Well-deserved Crystal Apple Award, and Robin Smith. I have worked very close with her for years. I consider her a very dear friend. Her whole, just to let y'all know, her nickname for me is Ara Smith, and I just love her dearly, and she so deserved that award. I've heard tonight from Dr. Roop's presentation, everyone and everything matters. Love that, and I saw Dr. Fall on your slides. It says together we can, and those two things just rang a bell with me. We had a tough last week with the referendum results, and together we can. It's going to take the whole community, the whole board, the whole district to work together, and I think we can make a difference in the future. We just got to do it a different way. But everyone and everything matters, and our students matter.
Thank you, Ms. Gallman. Mr. Surratt.
Yeah, I'm piggybacking. Ms. Goldman just said the best. Everyone matters, especially our kids. Hopefully, me and Dr. Fall talked last week, we have to take a step back and go back to the drawing board and come up with something. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we still have needs, and as time progresses, our needs are only going to get bigger, and they're going to get costlier. Construction is going up every day. We have identified our needs. We had a facility study done. Sadly, I was hoping that it went through. Years ago, we had a facility study done, and the referendum went through, and we were able to provide for our kids. I don't think a lot of people understand that when you put something on the ballot, we have to do exactly what we say we're going to do. I know some people said that we're going to get the money and do something else with it, and I told them that that's not possible. We have to do what we say we're going to do with the money. So I mean, that's another story for another day. But again, thank everybody for the job they do.
Mr. Wilkins.
I'm good. Hey.
Ms. Shippey. Ms. Shackelford.
I was very encouraged tonight by Dr. Roop's presentation. I thought he did a terrific job, and just congratulations to the honorees. And I mean, I hope as a board we'll listen to the community and really understand what they would like to see in the next referendum, hear from them. I think that's important, and we have some trust building to do. So onward we go.
Thank you. Ms. Dawkins.
Just simply said we were deterred, but we're not going to stop. We will continue to do what we think is best for our children and their education. just one layer at a time. Just take smaller steps, but we will continue.
Thank you. Do look forward to a deeper dive with Dr. Fall looking into some of the data that he'll gather from meeting with individuals and leaders in the community to see what are the reasons. I think Mr. Powell, the Ledger had a poll that was put out on Friday. So I don't know how the results are being, but that is some information that we can gain and glean from that.
I'll be happy to share that with you as soon as the results are available.
Because I think you asked the question, was it the tax increase? Was it the plan? Was it they didn't trust us? Several different other reasons, and then I voted yes. And so it would be interesting to see what the readers of the Ledger who take the poll, see what they say, because the way we move forward is, as Ms. Shackelford said, we gain trust from the community. To me, I think we did a good step in that we put the question to the voters. It was not a unilateral decision by the school board. It was given to the voters. So the voters would speak. So we'll learn from that. We'll move forward because the needs have not changed. The buildings are getting older. There are things that we need in this community for our students to succeed. So,
And we will educate.
That's right. Educate.
Educate.
So as we move forward, like I said, learn, you learn. But we did hear the voters. So with that being said, do we have a motion for adjournment?
A motion to adjourn.
I have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you.
Hey, don't go nowhere now. We gotta take a quick picture. 2 seconds. You don't need lipstick for this picture.
That's what you think. Pictures flashed all over.
You speak for yourself, sir.
You need your hair shaved, but I see you like that. That's what I tell my brother.